13 to complete. Time allowed is 74 seconds for the first round of competition, for the 58 to go into this qualifier for that Bainbridge $500,000 Grand Prix on Saturday night, of course. World-class field and a brilliant week this week with 6 of the world's top 10 competing as part of the 5-star, making it a very strong run for the Grand Prix here in Wellington as well. And that will obviously continue, and then just a couple of weeks' time heading into that final Rolex US Open Equestrian class, the Grand Prix. That is the closing big finisher for the season this year as well. So just a few minutes away, and a 1:45 start, so just around 10 minutes until our first this $116,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup.
Hello, welcome to Wellington and welcome to Bainbridge Company's 5-star Week 9. It is Adequan WEF Challenge here at the Week 9 of Wellington International. Bainbridge Company is proud to be a sponsor of the 2025 Winter Equestrian Festival. They are one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multifamily real estate based here in Wellington, Florida, with offices nationwide. Adequan, American Regional Animal Health, are makers of Adequan polysulfated glycosaminoglycan, and they're very proud to sponsor today's leg of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. For over 30 years, Adequan has been trusted by veterinarians, trainers, and horse owners. Visit adequan.com for more information. We also thank our presenting sponsors of our live stream throughout circuit, Dodd Technologies, your partner in engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983. Discover how Dodd elevates sports, entertainment, and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. We also like to thank US Equestrian and their USEF network for the support of our live stream throughout circuit, leading up to that $750,000 Rolex US Equestrian Open Grand Prix as circuit finale in Week 12. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Bainbridge Week 9. We are ready for the Adequan WEF Challenge, which is going to give us our first qualifiers for Saturday night's $500,000 5-star Grand Prix. Alan Wade is our designer this week, the Irish Level 4 designer, famous from World Cup finals, World Championships, and many other, and of course a frequent visitor to us here in Wellington during circuit. It's a nice, refreshing change in the ring as we go from designer to designer, and this week the riders are amongst the world's very best, going to take on Alan's tracks for the Adequan WEF Challenge and then onwards into Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix. So we've got a start at just a quarter to the hour. We've got very nearly 60 contenders looking for the first 35 qualifying places into Saturday night's Grand Prix. But let's set the scene a little bit, thinking back to some of the winners we've had so far on circuit, and of course our WEF 9 Adequan Cup winner maybe from last year. Last year it was the double, and that's not done terribly frequently, but it was 4 gold, and Jordan Coyle, the dairyman, Jordan and 4 gold, won the WEF on Thursday and went on then to be 5-star Grand Prix winners here on Saturday night. Is that going to be the scenario that plays out here across Bainbridge Company's WEF 9 for 2025? Last week it was Spencer Smith and HHS Seattle, and they went on to be top 10 in our eventual Nations Cup Grand Prix. The focus, of course, last weekend being on Saturday night's team competition, but Spencer and Seattle winning the WEF on Thursday went on then in Sunday's daytime Grand Prix to be right there in the mix. Hard, though, to look beyond this man at the moment. We've had 2 5-star weeks here so far. Kent Farrington has won both of the Grand Prix. Here he is winning Lugano Week 7 a couple of weeks ago. Kent and Greer unbeatable on the night on the lights. And of course, here on WEF 9, we go back on the lights for Saturday night's Grand Prix. The start list then is full of absolute stars. And I mean, we start with McLean Ward for our Adequan WEF with Callis, Captain Brian Canan, Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, who had a great day yesterday, Elise Soak, and Carl Cook. He showed just a little bit last week, focused in for his first highlight of the year here on this week. Kristen Kukuk, Olympic champion, Rennie Dittmer, Carly Anthony, Mimi Gotchman, who has been well placed in 5-star Grand Prix action with us back in week 5. Got Cian O'Connor, Aaron Ballard, Stefan de Freitas, Nina Malvey, Dynasty de Beaufort. We've got Laura Kraut, Dorado 212, a horse that went very well here last week. Adrian Sternlich's Los Angeles de l'Essence. Lily Keenan, podium finisher in week 7. We've got Jordan Coyle and 4 gold, last year's winner of the WEF and the Grand Prix this weekend. Spencer Smith today rides Keeneland. We've got Dara Kenny there. We've got Ashley Bond. Ashley, who has been a WEF Challenge winner this season with Donatello. Ben Mayer's Anjou de Grisienne. Of course, Ben and Anjou, very, very successful together. Part of a brilliant string that Ben has at the moment. One of the world's top 10 with us. Tiffany Foster's Battle Cry towards the end of the draw as well. Again, a horse that was jumping well here yesterday on the first day of the show. Got Richie Vogel, former Week 12 Grand Prix winner. We've got Alex Matz, the winner up in Toronto last year of the Grand Prix. Gabriel de Matos in the money yesterday and also in last weekend's Nations Cup Grand Prix with us here for Brazil. The man in red hot form, Kent Farrington and Orofina, go towards the end of the draw. We've got Michaela Langmeyer there. We've got Margie Goldston Engel, who was a class winner last week. We've got Henrik von Eckermann's Minuteman, Nikki Gallagher and Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek towards the end of the draw there as well for the man from County Meath. Run of Irish riders then. Shane Sweetener, Michael Duffy. We've got Daniel Blumen, former Week 12 Grand Prix winner there. We've got Mark Blumen, who was on the podium last weekend. Carlos Hank, the number 1 ranked under 25 rider in the world. The Olympic gold medalist, Harry Charles. And Casco Blue. And remember, out of this starting list, we're going to take just 35 horses and riders from this competition forward to the Grand Prix. Abdul Saeed from Belgium rejoined circuit, having been over in Doha, winning the Global Champions Grand Prix there. Mario Delorier, Canadian Olympian Andre Tima, former European champion, who's a real familiar face here on the North American circuit as well. Then we go on, actually a really strong one there at the very end. Nicola Philipparts and Derby. Nicola's actually won 2 legs of the WEF Challenge already on circuit. We'll see what he's going to do here today, the Belgian Olympian and Derby de Riverland. Last to go of 58 on the start list. So we are ready to get underway. We start with one of the world's very, very best. It is McLean Ward. McLean, number 7 in the world on the newly released standings. Actually held his place inside the top 10. McLean with Beechwood Stables LLC's Callis will show us the way around this Alan Wade first round. And of course, this weekend, the Adequan WEF Challenge is back to normal. It's jump ball format, having been a Table A speed last weekend for Nations Cup. McLean with his Paris Olympics partner Elex here this week as well. It's interesting that McLean, he's quite sharp and prompt on that turn from 2 to 3. So he's feeling in his gut perhaps that 74 seconds, the time allowed, it might be wheeled a little tight. Callis just hanging a little bit here for McLean, so he's just going to be working quite hard that he's getting that quality of jump from in front of the leg all the time. No one better, though, really, to work his magic around a horse that's maybe not being as helpful as it could be. And, you know, again, he's got Callis going in a really nice shape now. They are, though, at the cost of 4 faults. Be interesting to see how many clears Alan Wade ends up achieving from this initial round track to come back for the jump off.
Just on forward, 72.
So 72.59 there from McLean. Again, that was punching a little bit early on in the course too. So I think our time could have a bit of an influence here in our Adequan WEF Challenge for week 9. McLean Ward posts a 4-fault score as first to go. Captain Brian Cannan, our next to go. Consistent Grand Prix contender throughout the season and a 5-star Grand Prix contender with this horse during Lugano Week 7. This is Castlefield Dream by Clinton. They did a good job there as a partnership because Brian had again been that little bit conscious of the time. They'd ended up together quite deep into the base of the first part of that double of verticals, but Castlefield Dream very, very quick in front and quick thinking as well. Just gets himself out of the way of the rail. Unfortunately, though, just tapping away the towers down in front of the Blue Ribbon Club. And you saw there, Brian, you know, the horse was a little bit upside down going in over the first part of the double. Got a nice shape out over the second, but Brian was just stepping in, making that little bit of adjustment. But there's not a lot of time and space before the Dodd. And down it came. So just working through this final line. And sighting in on the last of the 74 seconds time allowed. It's going to be okay. Brian Cannan, Castlefield Dream. Another one on the 72, 72.38. So about a quarter of a second there between Brian Cannan and McLean Ward, but it must be said that both of them were riding very positively in particularly the early part of the course. So it is 8 faults for Brian Cannan.
First round sees those total of 13 fences, the final over the water track going back towards the jury box side, away from the in-gate as the final fence on course, and time allowed of 74 seconds. Next, getting ready underneath the bridge will be for Brazil, their final stages of readiness. Big week again with, as I say, the total of 6 of the world's top 10 competing here this week in Wellington as part of this Bainbridge 5-star week. Riding out is the man who's won 2 classes, doubled up on wins yesterday. It is Eduardo de Menezes now looking for his 3rd win.
So coming forward now with H5 Sport Horses, H5 Knocando, it is Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. Eduardo, the winner of both of our 5-star classes yesterday, to get set for the week ahead. Age 5 Knocando, Comil Faux-bred, for a rider who was part of the Brazilian team in last week's Florida Coast Equipment Nations Cup as well. And again, just exactly as set by McLean Ward. We're seeing them all work down these first couple of lines, just trying to be a little bit on the front foot. What's interesting then, and actually it hasn't claimed a scalp yet, but is that double of verticals in the middle of that line. So they're obviously all getting the nice adjustment from their horse that they're opening up 1 to 2 to 3 and then being able to just back off enough to really treat that double of verticals with respect. Pushing a little bit through that Wellington International, and again having to then sit up and balance the horse so that you're getting a bit of jump back into the horse's pace, ready for the Dodd technology. So even just this early, we're starting to see some of the signatures of the tests that Alan Wade has set at this meter 55 level today. Of course, as you well know, the WEF Challenge, the Adequan WEF Challenge, a big signal of what the Grand Prix looks like and a big signal of Grand Prix form. Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, after 2 wins yesterday, is clear round number 1 of the Adequan WEF Challenge. And once we have a second clear, we'll have a jump off on our hands, and I'm sure we will. US team rider Elise Oken is our next to go. Been partnered with High Hopes Farms Gelvera here for some 6 years now, one of the longest partnerships perhaps in the Adequan WEF Challenge. And those stats that you've just seen on that graphic coming in through our statistical partners Jumper, the Jumper app, JUMPR. Gelvera and Elise were top 10 finishes in the 5-star World Cup qualifier up in Ocala, and have been down with us subsequently, including riding 5-star during Lugano week 7. It's clean out over the end of that line. Gelvera just takes hold of the bridle there for a stride or two for Elise, but actually it ended up, Elise probably opened the hands, let that happen because they got to the towers on a really nice spot. And clean out over the dot. This is jumping very, very well. Elise could be giving us a jump off here. Super early in the draw after just 4 horses. Conditions set fair, the work that's gone into the surface over the course of the winter, the conditions in this ring, and of course the preparation the horses and riders have had until now. 71-17, Elise Oken and Gelvera are clear round number 2, and we do have a jump off on our hands already in our 5-star Adequan WEF Challenge. 116,000 in the prize fund here for a 5-star week in this class.
Grand Prix, including in the 5-star series Wellington as well. Riding for Sydney Osby is the Sandor, the French friend.
So US Team Olympic medalist from Paris last summer, Carl Cook, over with us now from the West Coast where he started his 2025 season. Carl just took a top 10 placing in the Classic last week. That was his only FEI start with Caracol de la Roque during week 8. He made the big adjustment there, and Caracol ended up being just between 2 spots. Very, very brave to take off, but there was just no way of making a good shape in over that first vertical at the double. Yeah, Carl sitting and kind of bracing against Caracol's enthusiasm for the job. And more often than not, when they just sit in and relax, it comes together. But there has been those 2 times on course, whereas Carl has just said, okay, let's go together. Now having, been in a little bit of friction, just holding against each other, Carl has this style of just agreeing with the horse just before the fence and taking the stride. But on those 2 occasions, it just didn't work out for them. So it is 2 down for Caracol de la Roque and Carl Cook here in our Adequan WEF Challenge. We'll see what it means. 35 qualify out of this class. And of course, then we go to tomorrow morning's class for the remaining qualifiers. So Zoe Conter, 5th in last weekend's Grand Prix. That was a Sunday afternoon Grand Prix for Nations Cup week. Having been on the podium finishing Belgian team the night before as well. Zoe Conter owns and rides this entry for Belgium. It's Davidoff de la Suze. Zoe, the older of the 2 Conter sisters, is out of the under-25 ranks now, but has been very, very successful in them. Zoe and Emily Conter have been over here jumping with us for the spring season, the last few seasons. And of course, their family's Stefex operation, also the managers of the Stefex Brussels Masters show, which is itself, just like our Week 12, a part of the Rolex series. Just seem to catch that a little bit with the breastplate as much as anything. So Zoe and Davidoff de la Suze, a very, very cheap rail there. They're getting more serious though. Laid a toe on the first vertical and kind of breasted away that one, and more coming down now. They're on 16. Yeah. It didn't look like she had the blood up to come down that final line, having already picked up 16. So Zoe Conter, Davidoff de la Suze electing to retire.
And the reigning Olympic champion, it is Christian Kukuk now, winner of the Rolex Grand Prix here last year as well. And also the former winner of that too as well. This is the Coleridge Equestrians. Stefano Balubay is the Dutch gelding by Shaman. For the Paris Olympic champion, Germany's Christian Kukuk.
So with Stefano Balubay, we welcome forward Christian Kukuk. Stefano Balubay has been a Week 12 Grand Prix winner here with Richie Vogel. Christian Kukuk, a Week 12 Rolex Grand Prix winner with us here as well. That was last year with his Olympic horse Checker. So the current world number 6. And of course, reigning Olympic champion of our sport. Seeing how well he can place in today's Adequan WEF Challenge. Christian, a winner with us during Week 3. He's also been podium finisher in a 5-star Grand Prix. That was during Fidelity Week 5. Just carrying for the back rail off the Oxer. Big wide Oxer it is as well. Just being able to look through it from our commentary point after the double of verticals early on course. So Christian and Stefano Balubay will be very interested in how valuable a 4 might be. And Christian has the ability within his balance and within his without looking too stressed about it, to just be able to get a horse up into another gear. And I was going to say, had the potential to be quite a fast four. And he did look like he was moving. But actually, 74.78 goes back to what we said early on in the class, that the time, if you don't really go for it, could just get away from you. So 4 for jumping, 1 for time for Christian Kukuk. I think if you're not making up the time, making up the ground in the early bit of the course, it's a little bit too late to do it at the end of the course. So Alessandra Volpi, Alessandra and Cedar Fox LLC's Candy Luck. We've already seen Alessandra in top 10 form in 5-star Grand Prix during circuit this year. Again, that's going back to week 5. Alessandra, who rode to the World Cup finals in Leipzig in Germany in 2022 for the US. Alessandra clears that third of the doubles on course. For sure, Alan will be looking towards a triple combination on Saturday night, but keeps his hand close to his chest in terms of what that might look like, because again, you sort of get that sense that if it's late on the Adequan WEF Challenge course, it's probably going to be early on the Grand Prix course. Doesn't always play out that way, but that's one of the things that starts to maybe come through. So he does really play his cards close here by putting out a 3 doubles course for this competition. So the triple combination, I think, will be a little bit of a focus of interest from the riders when we get to Saturday night, the Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix. So Alessandra gives us clear round number 3, a very nice round of jumping. René Dittmer and Corsica is our next on course. The German rider. We see a good bit in Europe over the summer, but certainly for the winter, very much here in North America. Indeed, he was picking up points week after week on the 2023-24 winter season of World Cup here in North America. Corsica and René, top 5 in that Fidelity Week 5 Grand Prix with us here on Circuit 2. Nice view of that final double in front of the NetJets landing, taking the position of the old Derby Bank here in the corner of the arena. One to go to clear round number 4, 74 seconds, there's no problem here. You just see all the traps, though, set at that last. The horizontal striped rails, the water tray underneath it. You know, there's nothing over till it's over on this course. And actually, he's 72.19. So again, not as quick maybe as he looked. We thought he was going to be about 69, 70 seconds. So René Dittmer is, though, clear. And clear round number 4. So Carly Anthony, part of the winning team last weekend for the USA in Nations Cup action with this horse Heavenly that she rode to a podium finish last summer in Virginia at the Upperville Horse Show, their FEI Grand Prix. Very, very sticky there over that quite big oxer. A little bit of a hop, skip and a jump on their final moment in front of the double of verticals, but they got there, and from Carly's point of view, will be quite pleased to have the horse jump well over the big oxer at the end of the line, having been that touch sticky going away from the in-gate to number 3. McLean Ward is our only 4-fault inside the time. First part of the Wellington International double down for Carly Anthony and Heavenly as well. You might say, you know, this is a horse that jumped clear in the Nations Cup, meter 55 track. It was 4-star as well. Like, one of the things that the top designers used week after week after week here on circuit, and Alan Wade in particular, you know, the ability to really differentiate a meter 55 4-star from a meter 55 5-star track. Is where those guys make their reputation and make their money, and we see that in this Adequan WEF challenge. So Carly has 8 for jumping and 1 for time. So the rider actually who was 1 place in front of Carly at Upperville last summer, the winner of that Grand Prix, Mimi Gotchman. Mimi riding Gotchman Sport Horses Cosmos BH for this Adequan WEF challenge. We've seen Mimi twice podium in Grand Prix action over circuit, including in Fidelity Week 5's 5-star. And Cosmos there a little bit looking around, and Mimi stepping in and just really engaging the horse down to the oxer at the end of the line, getting her straight, getting her focused. And again, it's interesting to see the Dodd technology coming down, and actually it's a big wide oxer coming out of the Wellington International. I think it took Mimi a little bit by surprise how well Cosmos jumped it, and that put them quite deep into the distance. And it's short up to the Dodd technologies. Not a lot of time for them to sort themselves out if they don't land perfect. Again, just having to get the horse to focus in and listen to her. They do just take that wee bit of stumble, but it's going down into that same corner of the ring where the horse was looking around before. Interestingly, that's going towards the big screen. Now, Cosmos and Mimi, no strangers to the big screen, no strangers to the international ring, but for whatever reason today, it could be that it was just costing Cosmos a little bit of focus down there in that one particular corner. So unfortunately, it is, with the last down, going to be 8 faults in all for Mimi Gotchman. So 4 clear rounds so far. Elena Haas is our next to go. Elena, who owns and rides this entry, the Captain Jack bred Westphalian Claude. Elena, a veteran of 5-star competition at Spruce Meadows last summer. She's ridden on some US Nations Cup teams in Europe as well. And most recently in action with us in 5-star during Lugano Week 7. Elena, another member of the 2025 cohort of the Brain Juice Under 25 series here during circuit as well. Of course, they had their semi-final Grand Prix last week during Nations Cup week, and the final of the Brain Juice U25 series coming up as part of our Week 10 of Winter Equestrian Festival here next week. Week 10. Title sponsor, long-term partners here, Horseware Ireland. Both parts of the Wellington International double down, unfortunately, for Elena Haas. So that means it is still just 4 to come back for the jump off. Although quite early days, not quite a quarter of the way through the starting field. You know, 8 faults seems like a lot, but from Elena's point of view, you know, they can both be put down to the single mistake. So, you know, that's quite good to have come out of a competition like this having made a single mistake. And we'll see where they end up on the ranking. Potentially, though, we'll have to ride again tomorrow if they want to feature in another 5-star Grand Prix with us here during the course of circuit. Cian O'Connor's our next to go. Cian with Carlswood Partners Bentley de Souris, a Sunday to Riverland bred horse from the Sol Francais stud book. Cian just riding this horse now for a little bit under half a year. Nations Cup rider once again. Last weekend, Cian actually one of a couple of riders who have lined out here right since day one. 2002 was the first Nations Cup held here in Wellington, and certainly we clocked that both Cian O'Connor and Laura Kraut had appeared for their nations in that first one and last Saturday nights. And next year, the 25th anniversary of Nations Cup, the Silver Jubilee edition here in Wellington. So Cian and Bentley still clear at the moment through the Wellington International double to Dodd that's caught out a few people. Looks to have just taken a slight rattle at the vertical coming out of that double. This former European Championships horse for Edu Alvarez Aznar of Spain. Then for on the international circuit with Anastasia Nielsen. Cian O'Connor, Bentley de Souris qualify for the jump off here in our Adequan WEF Challenge for week 9, and that is clear round number 5 for the Irish Olympic medalist.
Germany, USA and Brazil with the clears so far in the early stages of this $160,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Canadian team rider and Canadian Olympian Erin Ballard to go now, and running horse from Sarah Friedman this time. This is the Swedish bred mare Dior for Erin Ballard.
Olympian Erin Ballard with Sarah Friedman's Dior next to go. This one from the Swedish Warm Blood stud book. Erin, a member of the Canadian team last weekend. They finished inside the top 5, and there was quite the battle between them, particularly in the latter stages between them and Belgium for the last spot on the podium. Canada, of course, with one of the best records. They are still the second most successful team in the history of Nations Cup here at Wellington, and have finished on the podium several times in recent years, but haven't just in those recent cycles been able to nail down the ultimate win. Erin carrying the 4 with Dior and 2 for time, so it's going to be 6 in all for the Canadian Olympian here in the opening round of our Adequan WEF Challenge. So 5 currently qualified with clear rounds for the jump off. Double winner yesterday, Eduardo Pereira de Menezes for Brazil, Elise Oken for the USA, Alessandra Volpi the USA, René Dittmer Germany, and Cian O'Connor just moments ago for Ireland. Who could yet join them? Well, seeing whether the Brazilian run of luck can continue, we welcome forward Stefan de Freitas Barcia. Stefan with Dinosio Imperio Egipcio. The individual Pan American Games gold medalist, and then Paris Olympian last summer with Chevaux Primavera Imperio Egipcio. Stefan on the 0 score, just going past the net jets landing in that final of the 3 doubles on this course. Just takes a big balancing spot to the last. It doesn't quite work out for them. It's interesting, again, when you get that head-on look and there's that reason, that distance from the fence reason, it's very difficult to judge against a side view. So Stefan de Freitas Barcia with the 4 faults at the last, but again, making that big adjustment to the last and just leaving themselves off the spot that Alan Wade needs his horses on to clear it. And it is going to be 4 faults for the Pan American Games gold medalist. 70.20 though is pretty much just looking down. It's actually the fastest of anyone over the track. Another contender in our Brain Juice Under 25 series is Nina Malavé. Nina, in her last season in the U25s, was podium finishing last year in Monaco in the Global Champions. We've seen her podium and top 10 in Grand Prix action here, and that's senior Grand Prix as well as taking one of the U25 Grand Prix on the Brain Juice circuit. Nina Malavé with the Rain family's Dynasty de Beaufort by Diamant de Semilly. Nina's still on the 0 score, just over the horseware. Our next week's sponsors setting up for the last. And it's going to be clear and pretty pacey as well. That will be good if it translates to the jump-off to come. And she will be the 6th to start in that jump-off. Dynasty de Beaufort and Nina Malavé joining the ranks of our clear rounds. Clear round number 6 in today's Adequan WEF Challenge.
On the wing lineup for the team for USA last week, she rides the horse that she rode Team Gold at the Pan American Games in 2023 as well. Laura Crowd now for the St. Bride's Farm, and this is going to be the gelding by Diorado's Boy is Dorado 212. The gelding for USA's Laura Crowd.
Laura Crowd, our next to go. Laura, one of the top-ranked female athletes in the sport at the moment, sitting inside the world's top 20. Part of that winning team last week for the USA without needing to jump. Her three teammates delivered a 0 score in round 1, and their scores in round 2 were unbeatable by any other team. Just going to this double of verticals quite early on course. What was nice there, you saw Laura, she kind of took the pressure off the horse. She felt Dorado looking a little bit. Here again, you just get the sense Dorado wants to take a little bit of time and look, and Laura just takes the pressure off. She's being very strong with her seat and legs because she's keeping the horse going. But she is saying, yeah, take your time, just look at it. Second in last week's WEF Challenge, and went on then to be just outside the top 10 eventually in the Grand Prix on Sunday. Laura with another quite young horse, Trebian, for the Nations Cup. Watching the clock, yeah, 74.06, and I thought those couple of moments of just letting the horse take everything in might count against her when we've seen that actually if you're not on your mettle on every single stride, this time could just get away from you, and it does just get away from Laura Kraut there. So it is clear for jumping, but 1 for time. So that is next best behind our 6 qualified for the jump off. So no repeat of last week's podium finish in the WEF Challenge, but it is rare that we have what happened last year for Jordan Coyle and 4 gold, that a WEF Challenge winner goes on to win the Grand Prix. But being in the mix, jumping this well, is a good litmus test of going on to jump the Grand Prix well. US World Team Gold medalist Adrian Sternick. Actually, Adrian was on that team in Tryon in 2018 alongside Laura Kraut. This is Starlight Farms Los Angeles de la Sens. Adrian answering some of the early questions, and you hear or you see her just maintaining a good pace here. She's riding this very active Los Angeles de la Sens, and you know, they're in a good rhythm together, a good pace. Second part of the Wellington down, you just saw the front rail coming away between the standards to give the 4 faults. Coming home, 74 seconds time allowed. Adrian Sternick, Los Angeles de la Sens, is going to be 1 for time. 4 for jumping, 1 for time for Los Angeles de la Sens, so total of 5.
Top 3 in the Grand Prix here 2 weeks ago, that Lugano $500,000 Grand Prix. It is Lily Keenan of the USA to go next to the World Championship rider with the Chancellor Farm of New York. So Gelding, this is faster for Lily Keenan.
Lily Keenan and faster on course now in our Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Lily having good circuit with us, including that podium finish in 5-star Grand Prix action a fortnight ago during week 7. So one of those marks, and Murray Kessler, CEO here at Wellington International, was interviewed for Chronicle of the Horse. He remarked upon Lily Keenan being one of those examples of what this showground and circuit produces, because Lily coming right the way through from short stirrups to being on a US championship team. That was the World Championships in Denmark in 2022. first, I think, really to have had problems at that final double. And again, it just looked like they maybe just didn't quite pick up. It got a little bit low and long through the course of the double. You can just see the yellow cups showing that the top rails are all held in that little bit of a shallower depth. So with 4 faults in 73.12, Lily Keenan takes up top 10 at the moment.
Ireland now, and combination still on the podium last year in the five-star Fidelity Grand Prix, along with their Irish teammates. Jordan Coyle now, and Jordan for the Falkirk Farm as the owners of our next horse, which is 4 gold for the Falkirk Farm of here in Wellington. Jordan Coyle for Ireland.
So the defending Adequan WEF Challenge champion from Week 9 last year, and the defending Bainbridge Company's Week 9 Grand Prix winner as well. Jordan Coyle. Jordan and Falkirk Farms 4 gold. Six currently qualified for that jump off as he clears through the double of verticals. He wouldn't look to be travelling quite as much as some of the others who have felt under pressure from the 74 seconds time allowed on the early part of the course. Final line, and actually clearly has just been in a good pace, a good frame all the way around, because that time is very, very good. 72.19, Jordan Coyle and 4 gold put themselves in position to make it a double of WEF 9 Challenge Cup wins 2024-2025 as he goes forward as part of the jump off. Looking back to last year when Jordan stood supreme, we ended up with a Grand Prix, a jump off of just 9 here for Week 9. We have had, you go back to 2 weeks ago, I think it was about 20 actually clear and coming back for a jump off in the Week 7 5-star leg of the Adequan WEF Challenge. So we'll see whether Alan Wade repeats last year's kind of standard. I'm just going to check I'm not making that up. Yes, as is usual, Alan Wade returns for the same week year to year, so he is our returning designer as well. So 9 for the jump off 12 months ago, and we have certainly last year's winner, Jordan Coyle, represented in there. Cian O'Connor was in that jump off last year as well. Here, though, is a man who's won on the WEF Challenge circuits already this series. That was last weekend. This is Spencer Smith, this weekend riding Keeneland for Ashland Farms and Storm Ridge Capital. Again, Spencer doing a lovely job there of just riding and producing the horse he's on, because the horse is going with a head and neck position really quite high, particularly around that corner in front of the big screen to the vertical in front of the Blue Ribbon Club. But Spencer just knows, they're very experienced clearly together. He knows how this horse goes and he knows how he can assist that but also stay out of its way. Comes to the horse where Spencer Smith coming home to try and join the ranks of the jump-off starting field here. The last stays up. It is a good time, 71.36. Spencer Smith and Keeneland are in good form for any jump-off, having that real positive forward pace. So Spencer, just of interest, Elise Oaken and Gelvera posting our fastest clear round in 71.17. Spencer not much slower, mark you, in 71.36. So not quite halfway, and we have 8 for the jump off here this weekend, in comparison to, as we were remarking, 9 for the jump off in the whole of the WEF 12 months ago. Luis Fernando Larrazabal and Condara are next to go. Luis has won classes during weeks 4, 5, 6 and 7 of WEF this circuit. The Venezuelan Olympian from Paris last summer. And this is his Paris horse, Condara. In terms of Grand Prix qualification, they do not have to ride in this class the horse that they would wish to ride in the Grand Prix, but this is to get their own rider name on the Grand Prix start list. The horse qualification then can be from any class. You just need to, with the horse you wish to ride in the Grand Prix, once you as a rider are qualified, need to have completed the first round of a competition. So Luis Larrazabal and Condara. Another one to just have problems here. You just see the Oxer in the background down if the double in front of the NetJets landing. Just holds the horse. Has to really step in and hold the horse off that last fence. 71.94 with the 4th place, with the 4 faults will go into 11th place for Condara and Luis Larrazabal. World's top 20 at the moment. He spent a long time inside the world's top 10 as well. One of the world's leading riders. He is an Olympian as well. Dara Kenny, Oakland Training and Sales LLC's 0K. And Dara's Oakland operation actually having a very successful circuit across a lot of different riders. Flying the Oakland colours here across divisions. Dara was our runner-up to Kent Farrington and very close to him in time with this horse 0K. Sorry, with Eddie Blue during WEF 7 Lugano. This horse was well placed in the WEF 3 Grand Prix earlier on circuit. And again, that's also a nice thing when you do follow the circuit, is to see horses stepping up as the weeks step up. A horse that is maybe, quite comfortable at 3-star, has the training opportunity, has the showing opportunity here to come up. This might not be Dara's choice for Saturday night in a big 5-star Grand Prix, but a metre 55 jump off class over an Allen Wade track at 5-star level for a horse coming up to the level is a really huge and valuable opportunity for a rider than thinking about the rest of the year with the horse as well. And Dara and 0K make it look very, very easy. They are clear and through to the jump off, and looking like quite a big jump off, but actually going back to the stats of last year, there were about 35 starters last year, giving us 9 clear rounds. This year, about 55 starters when we get to it. So we are already up to 9, the same number as we had last year in total for the jump off. So Donatello 141 and Ashley Bond, the winners together of the challenge, the Adequan WEF challenge on Thursday of 5-star week 7. Olympian Ashley is also a career Rolex Series Finale Grand Prix winner here. This year, the Rolex Grand Prix going to be worth $750,000 as part of both the Rolex Series of now 7 international world-famous Grand Prix and the show jumping leg of the US Equestrian Open, part of the United States Equestrians Open Series across the 3 Olympic disciplines. And of course, Adequan's Global Dressage Festival across the road here in Wellington, playing host to many legs of the dressage part of that US Equestrian Open. Ashley and Donatello, just again, we see a vertical come down a little bit by the horse's chest there at the Dodd Technology. So no repeat 5-star Adequan WEF Challenge victory for Ashley here today. 70.20, the fastest of the 4 falters. This will be a little slower. 71.34 goes into 12th position for Ashley Bond. Stefan de Freitas Barcher with the fastest 4 falter is in 11th. Laura Kraut with her single time fault otherwise clear is in 10th. And then it is our 9 clears who are qualified to come back for the jump off. A former Olympic champion, team gold at Paris last summer with the British team, making it 3 Olympic golds in all in his career. So far, Ben Maher, a career WEF 12 Rolex Grand Prix winner, a winner of Grand Prix on this circuit this year. And with this horse, Anjou de Grusienne, a runner-up in the Grand Prix early on circuit back in week 3. This a ride for Charlotte Roster and Pamela Wright, who joined Ben's portfolio of owners. Have become very, very serious owners for him since they became involved with his Olympic gold medal winning horse in Tokyo, Explosion. Anjou de Grusienne and Ben, runners-up in the WEF Challenge 2 weeks ago during week 7, but unfortunately, just like Ashley and Donatello, are not going to make it back for the jump-off here today. It's a combination that have been Grand Prix winners here back in the 2024 circuit, also career winners together of the London leg of the World Cup Series. Ben Maher, Anjou de Grusienne, 4 faults. The time 73.29 is going to be worth 16th position for Ben and Anjou de Grusienne. 35 places available out of this competition. Does it feel like, you know, in terms of the clears, we're not going to have 35 of those. So is it that 4 faults can probably feel a little comfortable about their qualification? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Christian Coyle and Extravaganza Semi-E come forward now, and Christian and Extravaganza Semi-E, top 10 finishers with us during the Grand Prix of week 6, riding for Alexis Baudot. Sol Francais mare by Janac. Extravaganza Semi-E, you see, just working quite hard through that verticals. Just getting that head-on look of the horse. It sort of swings the front legs a little bit to the side out of the way. Very, very individual, our horses. They all have a different way of getting the job done. again, just really does have that tendency. Picks up great in front, but just has the tendency to then bring everything out a little bit to the near side. So Christian and Extravaganza Semi, it is with the single rail down and a time fault, going to be 5 for them, 4 for jumping, 1 for time.
It's 9 of those so far in the $160,000 Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, the 5-star week as part of the 5-star top competition this week here in Wellington, leading towards that Bainbridge $500,000 5-star Grand Prix on Saturday night as well. The top qualifiers coming out of this class 2 and on to Friday as well. Top 30 we're taking a look at from today. Come to close the class.
So 9 clears with Dara Kenny, our most recent one, posting the 0 score to come back for the jump off of this class. And it's Mexico's Patricia Pascal who comes forward to join us now. Patricia owns and rides the Diablo Blanco bred Chacalou PS. Patricia, a member of the Mexican team for Nations Cup last weekend. An Olympian and Pan American Games team medalist. In fact, we're going on to Kathleen Driscoll. I thought it was maybe not Patricio. So Kathleen Driscoll it is in the ring with Donald Stewart's Hidalgo. Kathleen and Hidalgo, podium finishers with us in Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago during week 6 of circuit. Week 6 was IDA development week here with us on circuit. Nicely ridden. Answering that question that has caught out quite a few there with the double. The dark colours, the Dodd technology following. Kathleen here going the right way about qualifying and qualifying easily for the Grand Prix and having a bit of a cut at the prize fund here in the Adequan WEF Challenge as well, because the time is good. Kathleen Driscoll and Hidalgo, 72.16, and that is clear round number 10, putting us into double digits for the short course here in the Adequan WEF Challenge.
Winning team for the USA last week in the Nations Cup, Natalie Dean goes now. Natalie, who's competed on the US squad across the globe, including in Aachen in Germany, Natalie for the Marigold Sport Horses in California, and this girl in Crescendo, NBZ, for Natalie Dean.
On we go then to, again, one of the leading U25s when she was in that group of the sport, Natalie Dean. Natalie, who has been the leader of the international standings here during circuit, been a World Cup finalist for the United States of America as well. She rides Crescendo MBZ. Natalie, part of the US team last weekend, who of course were our winners, on top of which then has been just outside the top 5 in 5-star Grand Prix action. That was with Akota M, her World Cup finals horse. And this horse, Crescendo, was also just outside the top 5 in Grand Prix action, and that was during week 6, IDA development week. just see the team replacing the rail out of the second part of the Wellington double. The horseware comes down. That's not been too frequently on people's scorecards. And Natalie's crescendo actually just drifting a little bit through the shoulder there. Did a good job to keep focused in on that final fence and not take it with them as well, because it was going to be a tough one to get there on a decent, clean spot. But she did so, Natalie using all her experience to ensure the last fence on course and keep it to 8 rather than 12 faults. So the poles being raised here in the ring. The Adequan WEF Challenge reaches halfway with 10 clears currently on the start list for the jump off to come. Would it be 10 more from the other half of the draw? Well, we will have to wait and see. It could be. We've seen that during 5-star week. It was roughly 20 that qualified through over Anthony D'Ambrosio's first round track in the WEF Challenge during Lugano week 7. Our Adequan WEF Challenge here is part of Bainbridge Company's week 9, another 5-star week, and week 7 and week 9 were recently announced at beginning of circuit to have increased prize money with the help of those two sponsors, Lugano and Bainbridge Company. So thanks so much to Bainbridge for their title sponsorship of this week, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multi-family real estate. Of course, our whole circuit long, the principal Grand Prix qualifier is the Adequan WEF Challenge. Adequan sponsoring nationwide with tremendous support of equestrian events, not least here with also the Adequan Global Dressage Festival. For over 30 years, Adequan trusted by veterinarians, trainers and horse owners. Visit them at adequan.com to find out more. And we'll take this very short break and return to the initial round of jumping of the 9th week of Adequan WEF Challenge Cup here in a few minutes' time.
I believe in goals. I believe in dreams. I believe in passion. Your success doesn't depend on a calendar. Your success depends on the passion that's burning inside of you each and every single day. You should not need a calendar to switch to another number for you to get motivated. If you're waiting for that to better yourself, if you're waiting for that to inspire, to be passionate, to grow, then you are setting yourself up for absolute failure.
You need energy. You need focus, and you need strength to drive performance and supercharge your metabolism. Only Almaced's superfood protein gives you the sports nutrition fuel you need to boost your energy and perform like a champion. Almaced, a natural, nutritionally complete superfood protein that is scientifically proven to absolutely maximize your performance. Almaced, an official sponsor of the Winter Equestrian Festival.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. This has been great. Changing the strategy makes a lot of sense.
Doors.
Keep an eye out for the invitation.
Can't wait to see it.
Bring us together. A dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors with a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your
The
wealth.
architect left the plans in the back if you want to take a look.
She's so ready to take over.
For retirement and everything else you're looking to build.
We'll get there.
Your Fidelity advisor can help your legacy last for generations. Doors were meant to be opened.
Explain 17 years of outperformance in 30 seconds? It can't be done.
We can tell you that we founded Origin Investments because investors like us deserved a better option.
We're proud to be the largest investors at Origin.
Yet we've never made an investment decision in 30 seconds. We don't expect you to either.
So when you have more time, learn how Origin can help you generate passive income and grow your wealth.
Giving back has been something that's always been incredibly important to me.
Doesn't matter where you come from all over the world. We are all people. We need to do something together.
I think if you've helped one person, you've made an impact.
This younger generation is what inspires me.
I think an extraordinary life to me would be to take chances, to take risks.
You can't make yourself be iconic. It just, you are.
When I look at a painting and my heart starts beating, that's impact. Or a piece of jewelry, definitely.
The cowboy hustle is physically demanding. No doubt you gotta be tough. But even more important is your mental fitness. Your brain has to be firing on all cylinders to perform, to be clear, to concentrate, and to focus. I'm a father, a cowboy, a businessman, and a musician, and so much more. I drink Brain Java House Brew, packed with the brain power blend of essential vitamins and minerals my brain needs every day to get it done. Low in natural sugar, low in calories, low in carbohydrates, and low in sodium. It's a great natural and healthy alternative to energy drinks. Brain Java. Be mindful, be present, turn on your brain.
You'll know Mars for our confectionery, but we're also the people behind Buckeye Nutrition and many horse and pet food brands. Our research has been responsible for breakthroughs in animal welfare. In fact, Mars has been part of the equestrian community for almost 90 years. We sponsor events like Kentucky and badminton, work with riders like Andrew Hoy, Lauren Nicholson, Ben Mayer. We even named one of our most famous brands after a horse. Mars Equestrian, building a better world for horses, pets, and people.
New look, more comfort, same feeling. What else you need?
Something like the US Open, it would be incredible to have in your trophy room.
It was typically the hardest Grand Prix of this winter season down here.
Trying to get to the highest level. As long as I don't make a mistake, he can do this very easily. Getting closer, I would like to think, so I'm there to compete.
How about the gray here, Spencer Smith for the USA?
Obviously it's a sport, but at the same time, the only reason I do this is because I love horses. Hi, buddy.
He's really been an incredible horse.
Everyone wants to win a Rolex Grand Prix.
I think adding the US Open in a great new initiative, and I think it's only going to bring more excitement and more prestige.
More ground line, please.
First jump is nice.
It's really all leading towards the US Open.
The person that stamps their name on it is going to, kind of go down in history, and we all want to do that.
Welcome back. We are midway through the 5-star Adequan WEF challenge. It's a $116,000 class here because it is a 5-star week at the Winter Equestrian Festival. Our week 9 is presented by Bainbridge Companies, sponsor of the whole 2025 Winter Equestrian Festival and title sponsors of week 9. Bainbridge, one of the nation's premier owners, developers, builders and managers of multi-family real estate, based here in Wellington, Florida, with offices throughout the nation. Our class sponsor is Adequan. American Regional Animal Health are makers of Adequan, which is polysulfated glycosaminoglycan, and proud to sponsor today and every week's Adequan WEF Challenge Cup. Trusted by veterinarians, trainers and horse owners for more than 30 years. Find out more at adequan.com. Presenting our live stream is Dodd Technologies, your partner in engineering extraordinary experiences since 1983. Discover how Dodd elevates sports, tech, entertainment and corporate events at doddtechnologies.com. And we'd also like to thank our presenting sponsor of the live stream, US Equestrian and USEF Network, powered by Clip My Horse TV. And we look forward to working hand in glove with them in the build-up to the Rolex Series US Equestrian Open Grand Prix, $750,000 here at the end of circuit. So far, 10 riders have unlocked a clear out of Alan Wade's first round track. And we'll go into our second half of the draw now and see how many more we get. Tiffany Foster will get us back underway. Our yellow stats there on screen coming courtesy of the Jumper app, JUMPR. Of course, partners with us for the Grand Prix pre-show with Stephen Wild each week as well. Tiffany here with Battle Cry for today's Adequan WEF Challenge, riding for Artisan Farms and Ken Farrington with this one by Vigadar Sui, of course, the horse that was partnered with Philippe Lejeune on his way to the World Championship gold medal in that Final Four in Lexington, Kentucky back in 2010. Interesting course. He sets up this long flowing line up to the brain juice. To say the brain juice has been in and out of the ring, but it's a very unusual color, the two different brain juice fences, that bright green, or there's a peach orange fence. Double of verticals here going down the ring, and as we said, people have felt that they need to be up on their time, 1, 2, 3, but then of course really needing to balance for the double of verticals. Tiffany, again, you see her really moving up the pace in front of the big screen there from 5 to 6. Jumps those towers down in the corner of the ring. And she just saw Tiffany move up and push there, and actually answers the question of that line through the Wellington International and Dodd Technology vertical, which follows very, very well. Final of the 3 doubles. No triple combination on this Adequan WEF Challenge course. Tiffany's going to get us back going here with a clear by the looks of it. And richly deserved as well, ridden superbly, and I think, would I tell a lie if I said that was the fastest clear round? No, I wouldn't. Tiffany Foster and Battlecry are clear, and they will come back as number 11, and they've already proven that they have that natural turn of pace. Their first round pace faster than anyone else. Does the horse have another gear to go into, though, is the question, because, you know, you see other horses come in, they're very, very quiet in the first round, and they can really find a whole different, almost personality in a jump-off round. So Mexican Olympian and Nations Cup rider Patricio Pascal, who we were hoping to see just before the break, coming forward a little bit late. Diablo Blanco bred Chacalou for the Mexican rider. Now, if he does qualify for the jump-off, he would go back to the original position, so would go before Kathleen Driscoll as 10th in the jump-off to come. But as they say, sometimes we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. So Patricia with the early rail, so working towards the final part of the course, knowing that he's on at least 4th position, and with 8 faults now, sorry, at least 4 faults, 13th position, and then the extra rail then is going to drop him out of the top 20 on rankings so far in this Adequan WEF Challenge. 74 seconds the time allowed. It has caught a couple out. Not least frustratingly was the clear with the time fault for Laura Cright and Dorada 212, a previous podium finisher in Adequan WEF Challenge Cup action with us. So Patricio Pascal and Chacalou do catch the time, but it is with 2 down, 8 faults.
Now, the world number 9, twice Grand Prix winner already this season here in Wellington, and full winner of Rolex Grand Prix as well. Richard Vogel with his own stallion by Sirocco Blue, Levi Nosa.
On we go to Richard Vogel. Richard, 27 years old now. When he was a younger rider, he was earmarked and selected for that prestigious Rolex Young Riders Academy. He's now world's top 10 rider, multiple 5-star Grand Prix winner, and an Olympian for Germany as well. Richard owns and rides Levi Noe Star, Richard, a career winner of our Rolex Series Finale Grand Prix here at WEF. See whether Richie's going to be able to steer his way into the WEF Challenge jump off for Bainbridge Week 9. Two-time Grand Prix winner already on circuit. Levi Noah Star was top 10 finisher in 5-star Grand Prix action about a month ago now during Week 5, Fidelity Week 5. The Dodd technology down for Levi and Richard. So on the 4 faults, top 12 places held by clears, 11 clears, and then Laura Krautz clear with a time fault. And 72.26 is going to be the time taken for Richard, and that will find itself in 16th position.
US rider Alex Matz, winner of the Toronto World Cup in November. Alex riding Didi Matz's going by Canaan. This is Canaan.
So winner last year in Toronto, following in his father Michael Matz's footsteps in that regard. A rider who then went on to be part of the US team at the Nations Cup finals last year in Barcelona, Spain. Alex Matz, his mother Didi Matz's junior Canaan. Of course, we talk a lot about Michael Matz's Grand Prix record. Didi being on winning Nations Cups as well. When you go back to Dublin, look at the record of that particular Nations Cup. Alex puts a good bit of shape on that brain juice fence. He's jumping across it. He's very much left of centre in everything he did over that jump as well. And again, this goes right back to first in the ring, McLean Ward. I'd say there were 56 other riders at least watching how McLean rode this course as first to go, because if anyone can go in and execute a plan without the experience of watching the others, McLean would be one of the people you'd put in that bracket. So he came in and he showed that his plan was to try and make up ground, to try and be a little bit ahead of the clock. 1, 2, 3, and then balance up over the double of verticals. We saw Tiffany Foster then also use the opportunity from 5 to 6 to move up a wee bit as well. Tiffany and Battlecry ending up being our fastest clear round so far as well, if that's going to translate to jump off glory. Alex Junior Canaan hoping to join that jump off now and going the right way about it. Time is great. 70.57 was Tiffany Foster's time. 70.69 Alex Matz and Junior Canaan's time. So that is also very, very competitive. It is clear round number 12 going the way of Alex Matz from Pennsylvania and Junior Canaan. On we go then to Max Watchman. Max with Susan Magnus, Fancy de Kurgan for today's Adequan WEF Challenge. Max part of the Irish team that finished second here the other night. Max has been on winning 5-star Nations Cup teams for Ireland, been a Nations Cup finalist as well. took a top 5 finish in Grand Prix action with us during WEF 6 IDA Developments Week. The Hunters took the bright lights of Saturday Night Lights, but we did still have our international jumper circuit here with a Grand Prix won by Ben Mayer, Ben's first Grand Prix win of the season, and as I said, Max there in the 5th place in that Grand Prix. That Wellington International first part is down. Was Max's coach, Cian O'Connor, qualified for the jump-off. Max unable to quite follow him through here with Fancy de Kurgan today, but again, as we've been looking at it and just keeping in the back of our mind the scores, it feels like, you know, a decent 4 faults, and Max Watchman is actually the second fastest of our 4 faults, just behind Stefan de Freitas Barcher, the Pan American Games individual gold medalist. 4 faults could feel relatively comfortable that their WEF Challenge performance will bring them back for Saturday night's 5-star Grand Prix. Luciano Losio. Luciano, who was well placed in a 2-star Grand Prix with us here during Fidelity 5-star week. She was the winner of the big international Grand Prix at Chantilly just outside Paris last summer. And that was with this horse, Lady Louise Imen. Luciano, 5-star Grand Prix winner here with this horse, Lady Louise Imen, on 2024's circuit as well. Going to have a little bit more to do perhaps to make it through, with 8 on the record card here for the Adequan WEF Challenge for Week 9. Luciano Losio, Lady Louise Imen with 8 in 67. So far, still 12 qualified. And we are just getting back into the swing of it, really. After our midway break, we've seen half a dozen or so since that midway. We've already seen Max Watchman a moment ago with an unlucky rail through the Wellington International double. Now here is younger brother Tom Watchman, both still eligible and both still riding in the Brain Juice U25 series, despite having built up extensive experience at the very, very top end of the sport now, with consistent appearances for Ireland on Nations Cups, including here with us during Florida Coast Equipment Week 8. Tom's ride for this class, Tabasco de Toxandra, owned by his family's Coolmore show jumping operation. If you have any interest in thoroughbred racing and breeding, you'll recognize the name Coolmore. And Grandpa John Magna very much in evidence watching Max, Tom and Alice competing and winning. Not just here on circuit, but around the world. All under that guidance of Cian O'Connor's Carlswood Stables. As I said, Carlswood were Also circuit sponsors, we see them supporting some of the national jumper classes, in particular the Show Jumping Hall of Fame Meter 40 series. Tom and Tabasco to Toxandria also just going to bring home a single rail, plus in addition the 3 for time. So total of 7 here for Tom. 26th position at the moment, and unfortunately more than 9 or 10 still to see. So automatic qualification by being top 35 today might not happen. Now what happens is we have another qualification opportunity tomorrow, 15. If any of the 15 places tomorrow are taken by riders already qualified from the WEF, the place comes back to the WEF. Gabriel de Matos Machado, podium finisher here yesterday, a class winner during WEF 1 and 4th in last week's CSIO Grand Prix. With this horse, Legoland Sandro, Gabriel de Matos Machado riding for Kristen Kopp Real Estate and Bay Winds Equestrian here, and representing Brazil with the Irish Sport Horse. Actually pretty much the first to have had a rail out of the double of verticals. Yeah, just bore down a little bit into Gabriel's hands as well, to that vertical down in front of the judges box. So Gabriel de Matos Machado on 8 faults at the moment. They get back in the swing of things after that top 5 finish in last week's CSIO 4-star Grand Prix. They were actually the first clear in the initial round, and I think we ended up with just 6 for that jump off. .99 on the clock, 2 on the floor. It is 8 faults for Gabriel de Matos Machado and Legoland Sandro for Brazil. So still at the moment 12 qualified to come back to us. Most recently it was Alex Matz and Junior Canan who scored the 0 and made themselves eligible for the jump-off round of today's Adequan WEF Challenge. Current world number 3 and in red-hot form with his own Orofina, the mare by For Fashion. It is Kent Farrington. US Olympian Kent has won the Week 5 and Week 7 5-star Grand Prix, so he's made a clean sweep of 5-star Grand Prix so far. He also won the Hermes Meter 50 class on the final day of WEF 7 as well, the morning after winning the Grand Prix with Greer the night before. Won a good 4-star Grand Prix in Central Florida last weekend as well. So he's absolutely on a roll across all of his horses. Greer, Tulania, Orofina, Gras de Mars. Could he be clear here and really feature in the WEF Challenge? 2 weeks ago, during WEF 7, he was featured. He was top 10 with Mila in this class, but pulled Greer out then for the Grand Prix class itself, having had a warm-up in the Friday Meter 50 class, and delivered an untouchable double clear under Saturday Night Lights. And it can just happen. You get into a purple patch as a rider and everything just seems to go your way. Everything clicks. And it's difficult to do anything but win. You know, not only won the Grand Prix in Ocala last weekend, but won the Grand Prix qualifier as well. Here he is one of our faster clear rounds. Whilst we're keeping an eye on that, Ken Farrington is clear. He goes through to the jump off, and therefore his place in the Grand Prix on Saturday night. The Bainbridge Company's 5-star $500,000 Grand Prix is already assured because we have those 13 clears, and I'm not sure that we're going to end up with 35 clear rounds. So anyone who's on a clear at the moment will know that they are comfortably qualified. And now, with the qualification monkey off their back, they can kind of really focus in on what do they do? Is it the right thing for this horse at this moment of this week to really go for it in this jump off? And with $116,000 in the prize fund, we'll be hoping that most of them do say that, yeah, they're going to have a cut at it. For sure, it's going to be a great class, but we will see some riders who don't quite have such a large string maybe keep their powder dry in terms of whether they even start in the jump off, or certainly how pacily they go, versus, you know, wanting to try and do their very best on Saturday night. Jimmy Toronto, Tobacco HCC is on course. Isalou and Jet Show Stables in the co-ownership of Chewbacca by Clarimo. Becoming an incredibly successful family now, with the increasing mentions of JJ in the winner's circle. Jimmy's son. Jimmy, unfortunately, with the front rail off the Wellington International double coming through the middle of the ring. And actually going to tot up now to 8 faults. So a little bit of work to do, potentially tomorrow, in the meter 50 class to pick up a qualification spot, because Jimmy is going to go probably outside our top 30 at the moment. 8 in 71.22. That is 30th on the nose, and certainly more than 10 starters remaining. And so there's a decent chance that Jimmy can be pushed out of the top 35 of the ranking here in the WEF. But as I say, there's also the dynamics tomorrow that even if you don't qualify tomorrow, some of the qualification spots could be taken up by riders who have qualified from today's class, and thus we get an extra contender coming out of the WEF. Last weekend, for instance, or 2 weeks ago, Nina Malave thought she had missed out in the WEF. They sat down, they did the calculation overnight, and actually she didn't go in the Friday class, knowing that qualification through the WEF, looking at pre-qualified athletes as well, and those who are not entering the Grand Prix and had not declared for the Grand Prix, meant that she had her place. So it is quite a lot of dynamics at play in the Grand Prix qualification as we turn our attention to Michaela Langmaier, Rafferty Farms Mimosa van der Rollebeck, showed with us at the very beginning of the season and subsequently ridden in Central Florida, and been a 5-star class winner during the World Cup qualifier over on the West Coast at Desert International Horse Park in Thermal. This horse Mimosa, and Michaela ended up eventually 3rd in that World Cup qualifier. Now, the first time we count against them, unfortunately, is in that double in front of the NetJets landing. But becoming an expensive trip home with 12 and a 1 for time for Mimosa van der Rollebeck and Michaela Langmaier.
Last week, it is Margie Goldstein-Engel now of the USA, adding to her list of massive wins over 200 Grand Prix wins in a brilliant career, including the Rolex Grand Prix here in Wellington. Margie with the ride for the Gala show horses.
Well, another career winner of the Rolex Week 12 Grand Prix with us here at Wellington. Margie Goldstein-Engel, US show jumping Hall of Famer. Margie won that class, the Rolex, in 2018 with the great Royce. She was actually a class winner with us here last week as well against the clock. And that was with Jack of Hearts. But her ride for today's Adequan WEF Challenge is going to be the great Dicas by Diorado. Big partner for Margie over the past several seasons. Dicas, a qualifier for the 5-star Grand Prix during Lugano Diamonds Week. Margie just has to hunt a little bit at that fence. Decast she could feel falling back behind her leg, maybe a tiny bit. Just the lure of the in-gate, and perhaps with the adjustment she had to make to get the horse back up in front of her over the big oxer, it just came home to roost with the second part of the double of verticals down. On 4 faults, Margie Golston-Engel, so that remains for us still 13 clear rounds now, counting Kent Farrington and Orofina. And Margie just getting a little bit of a wiggle from Decast there down towards the last. They get the time 71.75 against the 74 seconds time allowed, but it is with 1 down, 4 faults. And you can see the cost of that with 13 clear rounds leading the way. Margie, with a pretty fast 4-faulter, is sitting in 18th position. In terms of our 4-faulters, feeling whether a 4 is going to qualify, well, we have 23 riders on 4 or fewer faults. And 28 on below 8 faults. So that's a 7 for Tom Watchman, sits in 28th position. Henrik von Eckermann, the world number 1. And the just turned 11-year-old Vigodar Sweebred Minuteman. Henrik and Minuteman, top 10 in our Grand Prix during Nations Cup week last week. In terms of 5-star action, we've seen the great world champion horse King Edward out for a top 5 in Fidelity Investments week 5 Grand Prix. King Edward in the 5-star tour this week, but Henrik goes to Minuteman, who was of course in that good form last weekend in the Grand Prix, which of course was on Sunday as well, so you're bringing that form forward almost to the first day of this show. Henrik with us pretty much consistently on circuit. His one important engagement has been to go home to ride in the Gothenburg World Cup show, where he took the title in the Grand Prix. Henrik carrying 4. It's actually the vertical just down in front of the Blue Ribbon Club before the towers that he had down, so won't be part of the jump off, but we'll be hoping again that 4 faults, of which there are just 24 riders, will be enough to come through. And he's not going to be the slowest 4-faulter either. Henrik going into 22nd position with 72.60 being the time taken.
Finishing well in the opening WEF Challenge Cups this season, Nikki Gallagher of Ireland now, and Nikki with the Santa Rosa Group of Los Angeles owns Vidal Nikita.
Vidal Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek for Nikki Gallagher now. Zavel bred for Santa Rosa Group. Nikki, who a couple of seasons ago won the Grand Prix format Hamptons qualifier. Hamptons in recent seasons gone to a more usual show schedule in line with the other shows at the 5-star level. But previously, every single day at the Hamptons, the featured class was a jump-off format class, a classic. So to have won one of those big daily Grand Prix, basically, Nikki Gallagher, rightly very proud and pleased with that performance. And Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek making a good job of this course here so far. Nikki just having to hold the horse out, so not falling through the right shoulder coming around to that Wellington double. And that's going to be a little bit about how the horse goes for him, and Nicky knows that inside out, but also a little bit of what he's seen, where that double has been an area where faults have kind of focused. We went for a long time with no problems in front of the NetJets landing, but unfortunately Nicky gets problems there at the double. And Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek and Nicky finishing on 8 faults in 71.21. What's that going to be? 32nd at the moment with 35 automatic qualifiers out of this class before we start then striking through the pre-qualified athletes. So we'll have to wait and see. Nicky Gallagher and VDL, Nikita van der Leeuwenhoek, and of course Nicky with a further opportunity to qualify out of tomorrow's 5-star class as well. Up to 15 could come forward from that other class, but onto this year's qualification structure in use for the Grand Prix. The majority of those qualifying for the Grand Prix come out of this class, which is a jump-off class and just 5 centimetres lower than the spec for Saturday Night Lights. Shane Sweetnam and Jelona A.O. taking up the challenge now. 13 qualified for the jump-off. Could Shane Sweetnam make it through as clear round number 14? The two-time Olympian, runner-up already in Grand Prix action this series with his Paris horse James Carl Cruz. Jelona, Shane's 5-star Grand Prix horse here 2 weeks ago during Lugano Diamonds Week. And actually, Shane not riding internationally at all here with us during Nations Cup Week 8. Of course, he and his wife's training operation here on circuit will have been incredibly busy with riders at every level in probably every other ring. Shane and Jelona just absolutely demolishing that second part of the double, the B element. You see it lying flat on the floor. It is still only 4 faults, and it's 4 faults in 72.30, 21st position, and could be enough to make sure that Grand Prix qualification is done today. 14 more to see. So it is potentially, it is mathematically a little needle, but I think between, in reality, how rare clears have been, 13 out of 45 so far. So about 1 in 3 converting. Is that going to turn out to be the case? Which would give us about 18 maybe overall. But I think Alan, in terms of stats, would be relatively pleased with that. His 9 out of 32 last year was a little bit under 1 in 3. Michael Duffy now. Michael with Cantano 3-2 by Casciasini. Michael, who rode along Shane Sweetnam on Ireland's silver medal winning European team in Milan. Plenty of team appearances for Ireland in Nations Cups over the years as well for Michael, who ended up on the podium of the Global Champions Super Grand Prix last winter. Nice spot in and through the Wellington International double. Clears the Dodd as well. He'd turned the temperature right down in terms of pace through that. But then it's a question of making sure you've got the energy, because these fences are big. Meter 55, 5'1". Just maybe ended up a little bit closer in than he expected out of that turn. He rode up to the jump for sure. He definitely opened the taps up, and the horse just caught it behind for 4 faults. 73.11 on the clock for Michael and Cantano, and 24th position with the 4 faults for Michael. Cantano and Michael, top 10 with us during Fidelity Week 5, so they'll be hoping to maybe come through and repeat or improve on that performance come Saturday night. First, they've got to ensure their qualification. Runner-up in last weekend's Grand Prix here during week 8, Mark Blumen of Colombia with Conquer PS. Conquer and Mark were podium finishers during the first week of Grand Prix action on circuit. Actually, WEF has turned into very nearly 13 weeks now, with Premier Week before the 12 weeks of circuit. So 13 clear rounds with us so far as Mark Blumen and Conquer PS are coming home the right way, about making it 14. And a pretty fast one too. Mark Blumen, Conquer PS, following up a runner-up spot in last weekend's Grand Prix on Sunday here at Wellington. Join us as 14th clear round for today's WEF Challenge.
Israeli Olympian Mark Blumen now, and Mark several-time Big Five-star Grand Prix winner here in Wellington too, and this has also been a World Cup winning for him, and it is
the next rider has been the winner of this Grand Prix, taking the title in 2023. Bainbridge Company's Week 9. He has also, of course, won the Rolex Week 12 Grand Prix, in addition to which Rolex Central Park Horse Show and the Rolex Series Grand Prix of Rome Piazza di Siena, amongst the many accolades for Daniel Blumen, Israeli Olympian. Over the Top Stables LLC's Gemma W is his ride. So I mentioned Mark Blumen of Colombia moments ago, cousin to Daniel. Daniel, previously an Olympian for the South American nation, before declaring a few seasons ago for Israel, and helped Israel qualify for the Tokyo Olympic Games, and rode for the first time as an Israeli Olympian in Paris when he helped them qualify for the team final. Daniel and Gemma. Gemma been a great horse for Daniel. Sail home as a clear round, so it is a double clear for the Blumen family. Mark and Daniel back-to-back with clears as number 14 and 15 qualified for the short course. And again, we'll see, therefore, as we get beyond the point at which, you know, we might have more in the jump-off than there is prize money in the Adequan WEF Challenge. We will also get to the point where, knowing you've cleared, knowing you're qualified for the jump-off, you are assured of your place in the Grand Prix. And as we said, if you don't have a horse, if you're riding your Grand Prix horse in this class, you might choose not to go all out in our jump-off today, and instead look towards and focus on the $500,000 Bainbridge Company's Grand Prix on Saturday night. Carlos Guerrero with H5 Sport Horses, H5 Origi Horta. Carlos, who remains the #1 ranked under 25 rider in the world at the moment, Mexican Olympian in Paris last summer, our Olympic gold medalists, Harry Charles, in his final season of U25s as well, quite incredibly. Oh, unfortunately, 4 faults will keep Carlos Hank out of the jump-off. We won't get 3 in a row in terms of clears here out of the initial round. But 4 in 72.87, 26th position at the moment. 1 horse away from knowing that that is mathematically assured of a qualification spot, which means that Henrik von Eckermann, Minuteman and above, 4 faults in 72.60 or faster or better, are qualified, and that is including, of course, all our clears and Laura Kreit's single time fault. So the faster 4 faulters qualified. There are currently 4 riders on 4 faults waiting to see, is it going to be enough? Well, we mentioned him a moment ago, Harry Charles. Harry here with Casco Bleu. Harry, member of the British team that won Olympic gold last summer in Paris. Again, a few seasons showing here as for his spring campaign in Wellington, Florida. Second generation Olympic gold medalist as well, following in the footsteps of Father Peter Charles, who rode alongside Ben Mayer and Scott Brash for the gold in London 2012. Nick Skelton was on that team, and then Ben and Scott on the Paris team alongside Pete's son Harry. One of those riders, a graduate of the Rolex Young Riders Academy as well. We'll be looking forward to welcoming quite a few of the Rolex testimonies from around the world in the sport of show jumping to compete with us here during week 12 of circuit. You're quite daring on his spot into that oxer, but Harry just saw off the eye exactly what he wanted and rode up to it. He is on the 4 faults, but it's 71.33, and that I think is going to go immediately into the qualification zone. Yep, sitting 19th thus far, Harry Charles and Casco Bleu on 4 faults.
Left to go in the first round of the Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, and it's 15 clears so far as we go on to Australia, and jumping superbly in our opening 5-star Grand Prix as well. Kaiser Owen, the Australian Olympian, riding for Michael Wendy Smith of Middleburg, Virginia. This is Hailey Sydney.
So another Paris Olympian, Kaiser Owen, takes up the challenge now of our Adequan WEF class for Thursday here during Bainbridge Week 9. Kaiser with Hialeah. Hialeah, her Paris Olympic horse, and Australia contesting a few of the North American Nations Cups last year, and Kaiser a big part of that in their build-up to the team competition at the Olympic Games. Tizer, one away from joining our jump off today. 74 seconds time allowed, looks okay. And Tizer and higher lead to be 72.85 and clear. And that is clear round number 16, currently qualified for the jump off here in our Adequan WEF Challenge, week 9.
International award winner at the Hall of Fame just last week as well. Mario for the Wishing Well Farm of New York. This is the gelding Emerson.
So worth noting that we do potentially have more clears than we have prize checks out of this competition, and that again will be a consideration for some riders. But they will probably wait and see how the jump off develops. Mario Delorier and Emerson. Mario, like Daniel Bloom a short while ago, a career winner of the Hampton Classic Horse Show Grand Prix, amongst many other accolades, including being a 4-time Olympian. Mario went to his first Olympics, Los Angeles, 1984, as the youngest World Cup champion in the sport that year as well. Rides this one for Wishing Well Farm. It is the Eldorado bred Emerson. Just half a dozen or so left to start in this initial round of the Adequan WEF Challenge, and 16 clears to hand. Again, looking at a Paris Olympic pair here in Mario and Emerson. Emerson was also Mario's horse for the Pan American Games the year before in Santiago de Chile. So just the one fence for the ring crew to be replacing. Look at the time, my goodness. 4 faults in 69.72 for Mario. He becomes the fastest 4-faulter, goes 18th on the ranking, and secures his place in Saturday night's 5-star Grand Prix. So Sister Zoe Conter with us in the ring already. We welcome forward another member of that podium finishing Belgian team from Nations Cup action last week. Emily Conter. Emily riding Stefek Stables Portobello van der Fruitkopf. And Emily riding also last week, as well as being in the Nations Cup, riding in the Brain Juice U25 Series semi-final Grand Prix. Remember, the Brain Juice U25 will go to its finale Grand Prix next week during Circuit WEF 10. Portobello, top 5 with us in Grand Prix action during WEF 3. Just as the stars start to build up at the beginning of season, ready for that those 4 stars, and then the first 5-star week, week 5, with Fidelity. Unfortunately, the last down, the horizontal striped rails for 4 faults for Emily Conter and Portobello van der Fruitkopf. So with 71.79, it goes top 25. As we say, there are a literal now 6 remaining. So that will for sure pick up the place in the Grand Prix as a result of that performance, but no jump off here today for Emily Conter. And we go to US World Cup finalist Katie Dinan with the Spy Coast bred Verdi mare Out of the Blue. Originally produced to the international level by Shane Sweetnam, including some class wins at Dublin with Katie, this horse, runner-up to Major Tom and Rodrigo Pessoa in World Cup action in Washington, D.C. last year. It was no great surprise to see this one with the Spy Coast Farm suffix having originally been started by Shane Sweetnam, who's worked hand in glove for so many years with the team at Spy Coast. And Katie Dinan, and Out of the Blue SCF posts the clear round 71.84, and that is going to give us 17 clear rounds. We were looking and starting to do the maths earlier on and feeling like it might be 18 clear rounds if we were going to get that sort of 1 in 3 conversion rate. Well, we're up to 17 and we have 5 more to go. Amongst them, a multiple 5-star winner, a European champion, a World Cup qualifier winner, an Olympian. Abdel Said is our multiple 5-star Grand Prix winner, including just recently at the opening leg of the Global Champions in Doha, Qatar, winning that competition for the 2nd year in a row. Abdel, an Olympian in Tokyo, with Quaker Brimbell here for our Adequan WEF Challenge today. So a brave spot to that oxer at the end of the line. Abdul wouldn't be the tallest man in the sport, but this is a big horse, and my goodness, it jumps. Quicksilver Saint-Simeon, the sire. Quicksilver Saint-Simeon, the sire. There's actually is a quick star horse, so it goes back to Galabay A and Alma, with a metre-50 jumper mare as the dam here of the sire of this one. But just 2 performance progeny, Quaker Brimbell being the best of them, jumping at metre-60 level. So there's Abdel Said. Campaign for the Adequan WEF Challenge done with the slowest 4-faulter, and that goes into 35th position at the moment. So we might lose a 4-faulter or 2, including Abdel Said, who sits right on the bubble there in terms of time. Andre Tima and Cordani PS. Andre, who was the European individual gold medalist at Riesenbeck in 2021. On the clear, we've got this line in front of the Blue Ribbon Club that has been relatively influential. We had a few down at the tower early on, but more often now it is the vertical at the beginning of the related distance that's down for these contenders. Late rail there, though, with the front rail of the black and white Oxer going away from the in-gate onto the final line. The last down two for Andre and Cordani is going to be, unfortunately, 8 faults. And as you see, straight out of the qualification zone, 45th position for Andre. So potentially with work to do here tomorrow in the meter 50 class to try and secure one of those final qualification spots. Lion's share of the qualification, though, going to placed athletes in this competition. Also those 8 faults playing into the hands of Abdel Saeed, who sits 35th with our slowest 4-faulter. Christian Coyle, Adrian Sternlicht, Christian Kukuk, Aaron Ballard, Tom Watchman, who are all on 4 faults with a couple of time penalties, will probably already have done the working out to see if they are ranked behind pre-qualified athletes. But as we look strictly at the top 35, it is Abdel Saeed and Quaker Brimbell with the slowest of the 4-faulters. Alex Renato and Kisme Equestrians Helios van der Nozenhove taking us 3 from home here in the initial round of the Adequan WEF Challenge. Alex, a multiple leg winner of the North American League of FEI World Cup jumping. Top 5 and top 10 in Grand Prix action with this horse Helios, including just last weekend in the WEF 8 CSIO Grand Prix. Member of the US team for the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. Just going to have that rail there off the double. Actually has a right cut at the Dodd Technologies top rail as well, but luck is on his side and it stays in place. Dodd Technology working for a couple of seasons now with the team here at Wellington International. The LED boards around the arena have been part of the sports presentation improvements brought about by Dodd Technologies. The new big screen that you won't have seen terribly much of if you've been watching on the live stream, but it is a huge improvement for this arena, and actually the overall improvement of the lighting of the rings, making Saturday night lights a brighter, more fun and safer experience for our competitors as well, all thanks to the partnership with Dodd Technologies. And Dodd will be our sponsors tomorrow on the 5-star tour. So Alex Granato, 4 faults and 21st position with quite a fast 4 faults, so that currently on paper is going to cost Abdel Saeed and Quaker Brimbells their place in the Grand Prix. Ben Mayer and Anjou de Grisienne sitting on the qualification line. Guilherme Dutra-Faroni is our next to go for Brazil. Guilherme and Bonchance Farms come on van der Brambeyer. Cicero von Pamelbred. So Guilherme on 4 faults, and remember, not every 4 faults is going to be an automatic qualifier. It's going to come down to time, but if he does have a second rail, then that is straight out of qualification today, then with it all to play for tomorrow. Time-wise, this is looking pretty good, but there goes the rail. Guilherme Dutra Foroni with 73.51. It wouldn't have been good enough. 73.29 for Ben Mayer and Anjou de Grisienne. It would have gone into 36th position with 1 rail and at 2 rails for the lower spot there, unfortunately, for the Brazilian riders. So at the moment, only Abdel Said on a 4 faults, missing out of strict qualification based on top 35. But as we say, in amongst there's more dynamics at play with pre-qualified athletes and athletes who may have already declared that they, even if they're qualified, are not going to take up a place in the Grand Prix. So their place carries down. So Nicolas Philipparts, last to go in the initial round, 17 qualified for the jump-off, and as we said, by our reckoning, 14 or 15 prize checks, and that could have an influence on whether everyone comes back here as well. So Derby de Riverland, winner of the challenge during WEF 4. Nicola also the winner of the challenge during WEF 5 this season. Now on 4 faults already. So time suddenly becomes very, very important. Here's Richie Vogel, our only double Grand Prix winner this circuit. Nicolas Philipparts, our only double winner of the WEF Challenge. He's not going to make it 3 though today. He needs to be faster than 73.29 if he stays on 4 faults, and he rattles that Dodd Technology top rail. 74 seconds time allowed. It's over, so it is 8 faults for Nicolas Philipparts here today. So he cannot automatically qualify out of this class. But the fastest 8 faulter would go into 42nd, and that could be within the margin for error, especially if a lot of athletes qualified from today sit in the top 15 tomorrow, because then their place translates back to the WEF. Nicolas Philipparts, Derby de Riverland, 43rd, touching distance of those 35 qualifying places, 70.19 on the clock for Nicola and Derby. So it means we have 17 qualified for the jump-off. We got our jump-off assured very early on with Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, the double winner yesterday, followed by Elise Oken. Alessandra Volpi, René Dittmer were our 3rd and 4th. Keane O'Connor 5th. Nina Malavey 6th. They come back in the order in which they qualify as well. Then we had a run of Jordan Coyle, Spencer Smith, and with only a 1-horse break, Dara Kenny gave us clear round number 9. Kathleen Driscoll, Tiffany Foster, 10 and 11. Alex Matz then was our 12th qualifier there. And you see all the different nations, Brazil, the USA, Germany, Ireland, France represented. Canada's Tiffany Foster getting on the board. Over the page then, in terms of our graphic, it's going to be Kent Farrington and Orofina, the almost unstoppable Kent Farrington at the moment. But is he going to go all out today, or is he keeping his powder dry for Saturday night? If he comes in, he'll try and win. Mark Blumen, Colombia. Daniel Blumen, Israel. Tyser Owen, Australia. And Katie Dinan, our 17th and final qualifier for the jump-off. As you can see, the JTWG Arena Care team and the Florida Coast Equipment Kubotas with us here in the ring. We're going to let Alan Wade and his team set up the short course here for the Adequan WEF Challenge. Adequan from American Regional Animal Health, making the polysulfated glycosaminoglycan brand name Adequan, and they're proud to sponsor today's Adequan WEF Challenge Cup, and they've been a name in your tack room for over 30 years, trusted by veterinarians, trainers and horse owners. Visit adequan.com to learn more. We'll also, during this break, catch up with some more of our circuit and series sponsors, and we'll rejoin the action here in a little bit over 10 minutes' time.
took the midnight train going anywhere. A singer in a smoky room, the smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting somewhere. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street people.
Welcome to Carlswood, the home of Irish Olympic medalist, coach and international horse producer, Cian O'Connor. At Carlswood, we pride ourselves on the belief that success is reward for effort. Set in County Meath, Carlswood is the home of Cian's industry-leading high-performance centre. The Carlswood system is based on a structured approach to daily routine and meticulous planning to help reach our goals. At Carlswood, Cian and the team work together to provide coaching, mentoring, advice on horse purchases and goal setting. We also facilitate students who wish to progress their show jumping skills while they study in universities in Ireland and across Europe. When it comes to developing your horse's fitness, scheduling and planning around competitions, no stone is left unturned. At Carlswood, we are committed to delivering quality, a place where our goal is the fulfilment of your ambition.
If only every adventure began with your makers of wishes come true. If only they anticipated every aspect of your imagination. They would remind you that surprises are for the child in all of us. Help you celebrate successes and ensure all your milestones are absolutely unforgettable. What if only was possible? It is with only NetJets.
Bainbridge is a fully integrated multifamily real estate company that has developed and acquired more than 43,000 units, representing $8.1 billion in transactions since its inception. With over 650 associates nationally, Bainbridge engages in virtually every step of the real estate process, from development and construction to acquisition and disposition, asset management and third-party management of multifamily real estate. Bainbridge is the 20th largest multifamily developer and 19th largest multifamily builder in the United States. Our team of experienced and knowledgeable professionals are devoted to creating exceptional living experiences for all of our residents and building lasting and mutually beneficial relationships with our partners and clients. Bainbridge is headquartered in Wellington, Florida, with offices and apartment communities in Florida, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Maryland, and Texas. To learn more, visit www.thebainbridgecompanies.com.
My first goal when I decided to be a professional is to become like the best horsewoman I can be. It's really important for me to find the balance with my family, with the horses, that is my passion, work with the horses every day to do what I love. I used to have like one passion was the horses, and now I have two with my daughter. So I really want to have this balance in my life. I'm Marie Ecart, I'm a professional show jumper representing France, and I'm Lola's mom. Be mindful, be present, turn on your brain.
Located in the heart of Wellington, Gold Coast Feed is your one-stop shop for all your equine needs. From top-tier feed brands to the finest quality hay and bedding, we've got everything to keep your horse thriving. Our friendly staff is always on hand to offer assistance, ensuring your horse receives the care it deserves. Need a larger delivery? We'll bring it right to your farm, unloaded and ready. It's simple, convenient service you can count on. Short on time? Order online at goldcoastfeed.com and get your essentials delivered to your doorstep or farm today. Gold Coast Feed, where your horse's well-being is our priority. Visit us at goldcoastfeed.com and experience the difference.
At Palm Beach Equine Clinic, we know your horse is not only a superior athlete, but a part of your family. With more than 30 veterinarians, 4 board-certified surgeons, and the most technologically advanced equine imaging suite in the country, our team has all the skill sets required for accurate diagnosis and successful treatment. Palm Beach Equine Clinic is committed to providing exceptional service and care for both patients and owners. Visit equineclinic.com today to make us a part of your team.
Welcome back. We have our first on hand here for the jump off of our Adequan WEF Challenge for Week 9, Bainbridge Company's Week 9 here of Circuit. We ended up with 17 qualified, and the rider who's going to show us the way around Alan Wade's shortened course here that will decide the ultimate direction of the lion's share of just over $116,000 is going to be Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. Eduardo for Brazil with H5 Sport Horses, H5 Nocando.
is going to be Eduardo de Menezes of Brazil, twice won this week already. This is the H5 Sport Horses, H5 Nocando.
So the Brazilian Olympian starts out over the course, so it is 3 to the one remaining part of the double of verticals. Number 1, the Bainbridge Company, across the arena to this new fence. He has that down, unfortunately, for 4 faults in the jump-off. The 2 parts of the double in front of the net jets landing. Around to 11, as we did in the previous course, but now off their line, cutting down the ring near the course designer's gazebo here to the Ida Developments fence. It's 4 faults in 36.92 for first to go Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. And as you see there, also just getting the notification that René Dittmer is not going to come forward as 4th to go.
Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the man by quality time. It is Gelvira.
So with Gelvira, Elise Oken followed Eduardo into the ring, gave us our second clear round, assured us of this jump-off finale to the Adequan WEF Challenge. Can she be the first double clear? This is a spot where this class could be won and lost as well. That turn back there, Elise goes quite far out towards the course designer's gazebo. She puts a nice angle on that marquee on her turn back here to the double. Any double clear will go out in front for the moment with faults all we have to count from our contenders so far. Just coming down to the last. So it was 36.92 for Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. Elise Oken and Gelvira are that little bit slower, 38.89. They go into the lead because they are double clear. However, a little bit faster is possible, we've seen from our trailblazer Eduardo Pereira de Menezes.
Now to Alessandra Volpi, who's also like that of Lisa Cabine on US teams over in Europe. And so this is the US rider with the Cedar Fox of California's Candy Luxett.
On we go then. Alessandra Volpi was our next qualifier with the Cedar Fox LLC's Comil Thoroughbred Candy Luck. So looking to put it all together now. The double clear, like Elise Oken, and the time, sub 37 seconds like Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. And you just look at, who we still have to come as well, including some of those very fast clears from round 1, like Tiffany Foster, Alex Matz, Kent Farrington. Is just under 37 seconds going to be enough? Through the double. Everything standing at the moment. 12 seconds or so to get home from here. Oh, she's a long way off that, but gets it. That means it's going to be a little bit of a reach here all the way home, and it's a very good time. It is down, unfortunately, the Ida Developments. 37.13, Alessandra Volpi and Candy Luck. Just a little bit slower than Eduardo de Menezes, so going into 3rd on 4 faults. So just the one double clear. Elise Oken is the one to beat.
First of the Irish challenges now, and it is Cian O'Connor and Cian riding the Carlswood partners, going by Sunday the Riverlands. It's Bentley de Survey for Olympic medalist Cian O'Connor of Ireland.
As we said, René Dittmer not coming back, so that means that at most we are going to see 16 for the jump-off. Cian O'Connor now will try and set the standard for others to shoot at. Elise Oken, 38.89 on the double clear. Can Cian go clear and faster here with Bentley de Sury? Might just be paying a little bit of middle-of-the-road tactics here, Cian. He doesn't look like he's going incredibly fast, hoping instead to just deliver a clear, because out of the first 3 riders, only 1 double clear. Unlucky there with the rail coming down in the double in front of the NetJets landing. So now Cian changes the tactic. He moves up, but unfortunately, then that results in a second rail there, pushing away from the in-gate at that Oxer. So, with a time of 40.58 and 2 down, going currently into 4th position, Bentley de Sury and Cian O'Connor.
France now, and a string of wins too in O'Connor as well, but matching those with wins here in the under-25s, and finishing well into the 5-star Grand Prix already this season here in Wellington. Nina Malavet of France now running for the Rain family with Dynasty de Beaufort.
One of our U25 contenders are actually flying the flag well for the Brain Juice U25 Tour in this circuit. Nina Malavet. Nina with 38.89 to beat. Just coming back to us, she had quite a scary fall with us during week 8 in the open water. It's going to be open water for Grand Prix action here again this week. Like a lot of these professional riders, tough as old boots. Couple of bruises and back out a day or 2 later. And again, you just get the sense here that Nina and Dynasty de Beaufort aren't necessarily trying to set an unbeatable time. They're just hoping to join the ranks of the double clears on the tactic that should end up being quite valuable. And this is on the pace. We've seen others there with about 12 seconds remaining on the apex of their turn back to that penultimate on course. Nina Malavet, Dynasty de Beaufort find a great spot at the last, and 37.49 is going to be faster than Nina Malavet. Not quite the fastest overall. Eduardo Pereira, remember, sub 37 seconds, 36.92, but that's good enough for the lead at the moment for Nina Malavet. Dynasty de Beaufort, after we have recorded the performances of 6 of our Grand Prix, of our WEF Challenge jump-off contenders, including René Dittmer, electing to withdraw. So, Jordan Coyle, 4 gold. Jordan, the winner of this WEF Challenge 12 months ago during week 9. Got a real positive pace there across the ring. Wouldn't necessarily be in his nature to be conservative and try and go for the steady double clear. It's all out, and unfortunately doesn't quite work out. Look at the angle they're having to put on that Oxer marquee on the way home. So, Jordan Coyle, 4 gold, 4 faults. The time looking to be faster than Eduardo Pereira, and it is not going to be quite 37.02. So, Eduardo stays 3rd, Jordan Coyle and 4 gold going into 4th. 2 double clears, Nina Malavet, Elise Oken, France, USA. 37.49, the time to beat if you can post the double clear. So Spencer Smith, the winner on the Adequan WEF circuit so far this season. Could he make it a double here and become only the second rider to win multiple legs of the Adequan WEF Challenge this season? Spencer with Keeneland, and he is off and moving. Keenan does a great job there, incredibly scopy because they were not in a super spot. The horse just hesitated coming into that one. They ended up with a lot of work to do. They'll have scrubbed their time a little bit. Did they make up enough margin though when they were going? No, I think there may be a second down. Spencer Smith and Keeneland, can he make it the difference down here? 37.49 to beat. It is going to be incredibly close. Where is he? 36.52, he's done it. He is the fastest of anyone. Spencer Smith and Keeneland, 36.52, and that is comfortably about a second faster than Nina Malvé, and also, perhaps importantly, about half a second faster than Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, who had set the standard on the clock.
Ireland's Derek Henry now taking us over the halfway mark into this jump off now, and the Irishman with the Oakland training at sales, 0K.
So Derek Henry and 0K, this was a combination we've already seen go well, top 10 in a Grand Prix over the course of this circuit, before Dara himself with his World Cup qualifier winner Eddie Blue stepped up to a podium place in the Lugano Week 7 Grand Prix. And he, you know, Alan Wade has set that really positive line down there. You're really going for it. And then you've got to bottle the horse up to try and get that turn, because it's so easy to jump that vertical, absolutely flying, and waste a metre or two before you can really engage your turn. Dara and 0K. This is a very good time. He is 1 or 2 seconds up again on, we feel, the sort of place we've been seeing people. Dara Kenny, 0K, 36.52 to beat. And it looks good for that. 34.86. Dara Kenny moves the needle once again. And he now goes into the lead of today's Adequan WEF Challenge. Faster and faster. And again, like we've said a couple of times, Dara with 0K for this competition. He's got, you know, other horses in the mix here for this week. And 0K might not be his Grand Prix horse. For other riders here, they might be in the Adequan WEF Challenge on their Grand Prix horse, and they won't be looking to try and take on that sort of leading time. 34.86, when we thought just under 37 was pretty competitive. So Kathleen Driscoll and Hidalgo, they were our 10th to qualify forward for this jump off, and now they have to try and take on 34.86. Didn't jump badly on Sunday here in the 4-star Grand Prix, and returning now to try and make it happen in 5-star week, but not to be, unfortunately, for Hidalgo and Kathleen. Previous podium finishes with us at the 3-star level during the course of IDA Development's Week 6. And now on 8 faults, same score as Cian O'Connor. 40.58 was Cian's time. This will be a little faster than that, so Kathleen Driscoll and Hidalgo going to go into 8th place on 8 faults, 37.71. Battle Cry is next to go for Tiffany Foster. Battle Cry and Tiffany Grand Prix winners with us here in week 4 of WEF last year. Tiffany, one of the fastest clears in the first round. But certainly, you know, we'll have to find another gear here to be competitive alongside Darakeni, and the rail, unfortunately, counting against them. But look at this, we've been seeing riders, you know, at the apex of that turn with 12 seconds remaining in the countdown. Tiffany had about 7 seconds remaining, and that was on a horse that really moves. 1.7 seconds adrift, and Tiffany and Battlecry become the fastest 4-faulter, and that is worth 5th place at the moment.
Set by Darakeni, it's 34.86.
Well, next on the qualifying list was Alex Matz, Junior Canaan, his ride for today's Adequan WEF Challenge, and that end of the first line. It's a long line, scopy line right up to it, and it is down, unfortunately, for Alex, so putting him on 4 faults. Remember, our top 4 places all being held by double clears here in the Adequan WEF Challenge. And following Alex, 5 more to see. So Alex Matson, Junior Canaan, 38.56 with the 4 faults there. And that is going to go into 9th position with Tiffany Foster moments ago being our fastest 4-faulter. Alex was another of the very fast clears in round 1. But unfortunately just not coming into bearing here with the rail, and a relatively steady time because he had the rail so early. And knowing that the best of 4-faulters worth, even at this stage, is 5th. And there are 5 more starters remaining.
Well, number 2 and 2-time 5-star Grand Prix winner this season here in Wellington as well, Ken Farrington of the USA now, and Ken with his own man. This is Orafina for Ken Farrington. Leading time 34.86.
So now Ken Farrington, the rider in a purple patch at the moment of victories, Kent with Orafina. Can he do against that leading time, 34.86? Just really opens the horse up. He gets down there in a great style from the first 2 on the jump off course. He's going to be daring across here for sure. And turn short up to this double. The rail goes. So Ken Farrington and Orafina, even if they are very fast, the best they can hope for is 5th at the moment. Darakeni 0K, who was 2nd to Kent in the Lugano Grand Prix, is going to best him in this one. And time-wise, 35.68 is fastest 4-faulter into 5th. Darakeni would have had the nod had Kent come home on that time with a clear. However, consciously or unconsciously, when he had the rail, you have to feel that Kent probably turned the temperature down ever so slightly.
Now of Colombia, and combination that finished brilliantly in the top group of the $1 million Grand Prix.
Well, 2 for the Blumen family. Mark Blumen of Colombia with his own Conquer PS, who we saw on the podium of the Nations Cup Grand Prix on Sunday here at Wellington. And he has the vertical down at the end of the line, and then just as he sits up to try and balance the horse, to think about that, as well as being conscious of his turn. He just lets the turn get away from him, so he ends up having to go around the course builder's gazebo. So this turns into a little bit of a schooling session now for Marc and Conquer. So the time cannot possibly be competitive. And now there is the second rail as well. So 13th position of those we've seen so far for Marc Bloemen and Conquer. 3 more to see. Darragh Kenny, Spencer Smith, Nina Malave are our top 3. Elise Oken in 4th with our only other double clear. And we go now to a 5-star winning pair, taking the victory in the Hampton Classic amongst others. Daniel Bloemen and Gemma W. for Israel. This would have been seen, I think, everyone else as a real challenger for victory in this competition, given their experience in the sport, given Daniel's competitiveness as well. That's why he's not only a WEF 12, but another several times over 5-star Grand Prix winner here on circuit. And of course, major Grand Prix all around the world. However, the time is not quite there for him. 36.07 is going to go into second place. Darragh Kenny still leads 0K. Daniel Bloemen in second, Spencer Smith down to third, and we now have 5 double clears. Tyser Owen is our next to go. Tyser with higher leader B for Michael and Wendy Smith. Michael and Wendy Smith supporting the International Riders bonus here during circuit. It's a $25,000 bonus to the leading international rider of circuit that will be presented as part of Circuit Championship Awards during Rolex Week 12. Paris Olympic combination. Let's see whether this is earmarked to be Tyser's top horse for the week, because you'd expect it probably will be. In Bainbridge Week 5, a $500,000 Grand Prix here on Saturday nights, and Tyser has picked up her qualification, but is she going to open the taps all the way up on this, her Olympic horse here, to try and take victory as well over Darragh Kenny and 0K? As we suspected, you know, Tyser is just, she's moved the horse up. She's definitely in another gear, but not in any way trying to tackle that time to beat set by Darragh Kenny of 34.86. A double clear would be a nice start to the week here over Alan Wade's tracks, and this is definitely a real prelude of the Grand Prix he wants to set. And 39.63 will be the time taken, and that will go into a comfortable 6th position for Tyser and higher leader B. But job done, I would suggest, there with the double clear. So here we are, last to go in the 9th edition of the Adequan WEF Challenge. It is Ireland in the lead with Darragh Kenny in 34.86, and challenging now Katie Dynan. Katie with Grant Road Partners out of the blue SCF. I say a podium finisher in World Cup action over the course of the winter with Katie, a horse that was a 5-star class winner for Shane Sweetnam at the Dublin Horse Show. Dublin, one of those 7 shows now, of which the Grand Prix will be part of the Rolex series, including our Rolex Week 12 Grand Prix here on circuit. And Katie has the rail and that means that it is winner all right for Ireland. Dara Kenny will be victorious. He cannot be beaten now, with our last rider having at least 4 faults and just 6 riders delivering double clears. So after a double of Brazilian victories yesterday to open up 5-star week 9 from the Bainbridge companies today, it is going to be victory for Ireland and victory for Dara Kenny. And could he then go on to go one better than he did during Lugano week when he was the runner-up to Ken Farrington in our previous 5-star Grand Prix. Katie Dinan and Out of the Blue SCF will have 2 down in 43.28, and it is going to go 15th on the ranking of the jump-off result.
Adequan WEF Challenge Cup this afternoon. It goes to Dara Kenny and 0K for Ireland. So Daniel Blumen and Gemma W finishing in 2nd spot. US rider Spencer Smith, top 3 with Keelan, while in 4th place is France's Nina Malavé and Dynasty de Villefort. Top 5 for Lee Sokin and Gelvira, while in 6th place Australia ties Rowan Hiley to be 7th place for Ken Farrington and Orofina, and top 8 for Tiffany Foster and
So congratulations to Dara Kenny taking victory. Daniel Blumen, Spencer Smith, Nina Malavé, Elise Oken, Tyser Owen all jumping double clear for the top 6 places. But we're going to be celebrating success for Dara Kenny and 0K. A horse that's already proven his mettle once during the course of circuit, and now coming in with the victory in the Adequan WEF Challenge for week 9. Behind those 6 double clears, it's Ken Farrington with the fastest 4, Tiffany Foster, Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, Jordan Coyle, the winner of this class last year with 4 gold, Alessandra Volpi, Alex Matz, all on 4 faults, and behind them it is the slightly larger jump-off scores from 8 faults, the fastest 8 faults for Kathleen Driscoll and on down. So it was 17 who qualified for the jump-off. Dara Kenny, who did the best of them, best of just 6 double clears in the Adequan WEF Challenge for Bainbridge Company's week 9. Bainbridge Company's 5-star Grand Prix is our feature here on Saturday Night Lights of week 9 of circuit, and it is going to be a 5-star meter 60 Grand Prix. And we are currently aiming off for a 7 p.m. start, but we'll keep you updated on that, the Wellington International social media. And you can look at all the details of scoring and timing through the Showgrounds Live page of the Wellington International website. But 7 p.m. is looking at the moment like the predicted start of competition for the Bainbridge Company's 5-star $500,000 Grand Prix here on Saturday night. Don't forget, if you're planning your day with us on Sunday, and Sunday we have the Hermes Meter 50 competition for the 5 stars, part of that series-long circuit as well. The clocks change here in North America on Saturday night. So our classes for Sunday will all be an hour ahead. If you change the time with us, that's fine. If you're in Europe or elsewhere where they're not changing the clocks just yet, don't be caught out. Don't be an hour wrong for competitions, because it will all, I think, start an hour earlier for you. Certainly, we're putting the clocks forward. That much I understand. The rest of it becomes very, very complicated for my weak brain.
And top 3 set to walk in for our presentations here this afternoon. Congratulations to our lead 3, and it is for the USA, Spencer Smith.
Top 3 going to join us in the ring for the awards ceremony for the Adequan WEF Challenge to conclude Thursday's competition here in the 2-star and 5-star. And going over to the position of honour with our representative of Adequan for this week 9 edition of the Adequan WEF Challenge is going to be Spencer Smith. Spencer, already a winner on the circuit, taking the victory during week 8. He takes the yellow today for 3rd place with Keeneland double clear in 36.52. Our runner-up stepping into position then, the 5-star winning pair, Daniel Blumen and Gemma W, taking the runner-up spot in today's Adequan WEF Challenge. And Daniel, I know, red hot to try and get onto the leaderboard of 5-star Grand Prix wins this season. The man who came closest to Ken Farrington 2 weeks ago during Lugano Diamonds Week was Dara Kenny. And here today he takes victory in the Adequan WEF Challenge with 0k, faster than anyone, and of course with the all-important double clear in 34.86. So the Wellington International Arena here will now honour this latest victory for Ireland and for Dara Kenny with the playing of the Irish national anthem. Congratulations to Dara Kenny taking victory in this week's leg of the Adequan WEF Challenge and concluding our Thursday programme here in the International Arena. We have the draft schedule for tomorrow as Dara Kenny leads away our victory gallop with our metre 40 amateur jumpers, two-phase special at 8 a.m, 11 a.m. for the Bainbridge Company's 5-star metre 50 Classic, which will conclude our qualification run for Saturday night's Grand Prix. And then we have our Baxter Miami 2-star metre 45 Table A speed starting at 2 p.m. Big day here tomorrow, Friday of Week 9 Bainbridge Company's Week at the Winter Equestrian Festival. But from all of us here on today's Adequan WEF Challenge, bye-bye for now.